So champions Chelsea's recent dominant home form over Arsenal has a bit of a hiccup, as they could only draw 0-0 in the big game on Sunday at Stamford Bridge. Shaka, I mean, that goes down as a pretty decent result for Arsenal on the back of a couple of other good results this week.
Yeah, a decent result and even better performance, I thought, from Arsenal. They've come in for a lot of criticism so far this season. Simply awful against Liverpool, trying to bury that nightmare. Bournemouth fell in their lap. Good performance against Cologne, all the changes were made. And everybody's looking to see what kind of response Arsene Wenger could get out of his troops. And I have to say, they were the better of the two teams by far at Stamford Bridge.
And Chelsea ended up with 10 men. Let's take a look at your player ratings as you have them then for both sides. We'll start with the home side, Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea, nobody stood out, really, and took this game by the scruff of the neck and really... And really had that much of an impact. I thought Alonso was decent. I thought Moses, probably the brightest of the sparks, though the marks clearly don't reflect as much. But all in all, you look throughout, Courtois with 3 very good saves in the first half in particular, the only player in blue who can come away from Stamford Bridge with feeling proud about their 90 minutes.
Of course, things could have been a bit different had Pedro finished that one-on-one chance he had on 20 minutes. And as for Arsenal, pretty resilient rearguard action from them. And they might have even won it. Ramsey hitting the post.
Yeah, Petr Cech with that good save from Pedro, as you mentioned. Other than that, hardly tested. And that's reflective in his score. Not that he was poor, but he just didn't have much to do, which is more criticism of Chelsea and how they huffed and puffed and really didn't bother Arsenal anywhere near as much as you'd expect. And from Arsenal, these scores are a little bit lower now after 90 minutes than they would have been if I were to give these scores after 45, where I thought Arsenal was simply breathtaking. They took the game to Chelsea, really troubled them, particularly down that right-hand side. Bellerin in particular, I thought it was outstanding, but just couldn't get the goal. As I mentioned, Courtois with some big saves, particularly in that first half. And then in the second half, you saw a more pragmatic, a more thoughtful Arsenal display. Didn't trouble Chelsea anywhere near as much, but again, they were the better of the two teams. They were the team that came into this with more questions to be answered than Chelsea, and I thought they did so. Good performance in the first 45, more resilient in the second, not something we were able to say of Arsenal at all in recent seasons.
OK, so it goes down as a couple of points dropped for Chelsea, as they fall now 3 behind the 2 Manchester clubs who both won at the weekend. As for Arsenal, pretty attractive run of games coming up for them, starting with a home match against West Bromwich Albion. Is the tide turning somewhat for Arsene Wenger?